Today on Fresno State Focus, we recap the Top Dog Awards Gala.
Plus, we'll learn more about Most Distinguished Alumna Armin Bacon.
Also, we will look back on the impact of Hispanic Heritage Month in the Central Valley. Fresno State Focus starts now. Hello, and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Janet Zaragoza.
And I'm Fabiola Ramirez. 3 Fresno State student athletes were charged by the Fresno County District Attorney's Office Tuesday. Sophomore quarterback Zach Greenlee was charged for underage possession of alcohol. Linebacker Brandon Hughes was charged for resisting an officer. Soccer team captain Fanny Johansson was charged with disorderly conduct while under the influence of alcohol. If convicted, these students are facing up to 1 year in county jail with the possibility of fines costing several thousands of dollars.
Another beloved member in the Department of Art and Design has died. Dr. Paulette Fleming was the co-founder and executive director of the Partners in Art Youth Program. She was also the first recipient in the J. Eugene Grisby Award for Meritorious Service to Art Education. Fleming had been a faculty member at the university since 1988. Professor Stephanie Ryan worked with the Fleming for 15 years.
She was phenomenal in the community, in the art community, in the art education community, and working with kids. She was a brilliant scholar. She was a leader and organizer.
Fleming attended Professor Edward Lund's memorial service the morning of her death. Lund died last week in the cycling accident. Services for Professor Fleming are scheduled for next Saturday at the West Side Church of God. It was the perfect kickoff to homecoming weekend at Fresno State this past Friday. The school held an Alumni Awards Gala recognizing 14 former Bulldogs for their professional accomplishments and contributions to the community. The school was organized the first ever Top Dog Talks, where 4 of the 14 honor alumni came together to give inspiring speeches and share some of their life experience with students and the community.
No one comes to a courthouse shouting hallelujah. Everyone comes to a courthouse with a problem. And the problems are bad: murder, rape, robbery, divorce, child custody, property disputes, water disputes. They're bad. So I'm
Top Dog speakers included Judge Mark, Anthony Scott, author Armin Bacon, almond farmer Marvin Mayers, and Dr. Robert Aguilar.
Fresno State is honoring a local author and journalist with the Most Distinguished Alumna Award. Reporter Andrew Worth shares her compelling story.
Most Distinguished Alumna, an award that recognizes one alumnus every year at the Top Dog Awards Gala. Event coordinator Katie Adamo says that this event now focuses on who these people are and the stories they tell.
It's really interesting to see what these individuals are doing with their degrees. This year we've just directed the program in a way to better share the stories, better.
In 1973, Bacon graduated from Fresno State with a degree in psychology. After working at Community Hospital for a few years, she had a change of heart and became the public relations director at the Fresno County Office of Education, where she would work for the next 20 years.
With roughly 1,200 people expected to show up and honor Bacon and many other Fresno State alumni, her journey hasn't always been bright lights and big crowds.
Tragedy caused her world to come crashing down, but this would draw her back to Fresno State.
And then reinventing myself out of tragedy. I lost my son 10 years ago, and words became my oxygen, and I came back to campus to learn the craft of writing.
Bacon would use her writing as a way to cope with the loss. But there was one door that stayed shut for almost 10 years.
I think I was very quiet at first. There was a stillness. There was, each wall had memories. There were certain photographs and artifacts in every area of the room that I remembered, that I still see when I look at the walls.
Finding comfort in both her writing and supporting the university, Bacon has earned the title of Most Distinguished Alumna. President Castro said he was happy to be able to recognize her.
She's an educator, a writer. She sits on our university advisory board. She's a valued and trusted advisor. She's just an incredible human being.
It will be hard to top such an extraordinary person that gives so much of herself to the university. But for now, we can appreciate the work that she has done. Andrew Worth, Fresno State Focus.
Fresno State's Career Development Center offers career fairs during the year to give students the chance to meet potential employers and explore job opportunities. Whether you are looking to seek employment or not, attending one you can make a valuable experience. Joining us here is Stephen Davis, Employer Services Specialist with Career Development Center. It's nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
So I know you guys had the job fair today. Can you explain to me a little bit of what went on?
So at the job fair, students get an opportunity to sit and meet with employers. We actually, over the 3 days, have 170 employers coming to talk to students. And students can come in, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, we have something there for you. So the freshmen and sophomores, we're able to talk to the employers about career exploration, things they need to do to prepare, having skill sets that are needed, and then the juniors and seniors are there to look for internship opportunities and look for career opportunities.
What are some of these employers looking for in these candidates?
A lot of employers are looking at the soft skills of students. So they want to find out what kind of communication skills they have, what makes them a good candidate. Can be anything from being able to communicate effectively, showing and being able to demonstrate team building skills, leadership, anything along those lines, because employers feels they can teach the skills that are needed to do the job. As far as hard skills are concerned, it's the soft skills that are a little bit harder to teach. So they really are looking for those students who come in with excellent soft skills.
From your experience, what has been one big mistake that someone has made at a job interview?
I think some students and in general people, they come in too confident, and they think just because that they have the skills to do the job, they're automatically going to be offered the position. And that's not the case. You really have to be able to sell yourself in a job interview. And that goes everything from, being able to talk about what skills you have that make you qualified for the position, and what kind of skills that you have that are going to help that company along the line. So it's about selling yourself and what you can do for the company, more so than what most people do, which is try to say, what can the company do for me?
Okay, well, it was nice having you here today.
Thank you so much.
We have been talking with Stephen Davis, Employer Services Specialist with Career Development Center.
Hispanic Heritage Month comes to a close tomorrow. It celebrates the heritage, culture, and contributions made by Hispanic and Latino Americans in the U.S. Reporter Gilbert Magallon had a chance to attend the celebration, where important members of the community stress the importance of education.
Leaders were honored at the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration in Tulare last week. They shared their struggles and stories of success to show members of the Hispanic and Latino community that yes, we can.
There's a way out. There's a way out, but it's not with your hands, it's with your brain, it's with your mind, it's with getting an education.
A big focus was put on education and how it's necessary to be successful and uplift the community. Honoree Dr. Rosa Flores Carlson stressed this.
The more education a person has, the more choices in life you will have, the more control of your life, and the happier you will be.
A Fresno State alumna, she was the first in her family to attend college. Her parents came to the U.S. from Mexico when she was only 7. She didn't know English, but defied all odds and got her PhD. She is now president of Porterville College.
Education gets you places you've never thought of and you never even dreamed of, and you have a lot more choices in life with an education than without it.
Other leaders who were honored were the Diaz brothers.
Don't live your life with I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Don't live that way.
They are best known for being featured in the movie McFarland USA.
Uno, Dos. Tres.
Former Bulldog David Diaz gave some words of wisdom and encouragement to Fresno State students.
Finish school as soon as you can and follow your heart, follow your dream, and if the Diaz brothers can make it, graduate from Fresno State, so can you.
The messages the speakers gave here at the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration were the same. Stay in school, work hard, and chase your dreams. Gilbert Magallon, Fresno State Focus.
Coming up on Fresno State Focus,
a backstage look inside the world of fashion. From the hottest new vest, boots, and everything you need for cooler weather.
Did you say cooler weather? It's making its way into the Central Valley and maybe even rain. All that and more when we come back.
So you decided to go to Fresno State. Good for you. But you were too insecure to show Fresno State pride? That's a problem. Because you never bothered to show pride in your school, you are shunned by other students. Professors can smell the stench of impending failure on you and take no pity. Even the mass communication students agree you have no future. But all of this could have been avoided if you simply showed your pride for Fresno State.
I am Fresno State.
Fresno State pride. Show it or face the consequences.
Cooler temperatures are moving in. If we take a look at our satellite map, over on the East Coast, we have a little bit of activity up in the Northwest, and we also have some activity over on the Southeast in Florida. If we move over to the West Coast, we have a system that's actually going to be moving in today over California that's going to be giving us hopefully that much needed rain we've been wanting. If we see here, we have our low pressure system that's going to be moving in this afternoon. It's going to be bringing us some cloud coverage, and it's also going to be bringing us slight showers into the South Valley. So speaking of the South Valley, today we are mostly in the 90s. And hopefully once that low pressure system moves in, we're going to get that much needed relief from this weather that we've been wanting. So for air quality today, we are mostly moderate. Across the board, and if we get that rain that we've all been waiting for, fingers crossed, we'll have some better air quality coming to us. So right now we're 89 degrees and we have a calm wind of 5 miles per hour coming in from the northwest. So for today, it's mostly sunny. Once we get that low pressure system coming in, we're going to have some cloud coverage, and the big change we've been waiting for happens on Thursday when we have a chance of rain. So what does that mean for us? That means that in the weekend, we're going to be having a cool down. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we are going to be in the mid to lower 80s, and even 79 on Sunday. So for the rest of the week, we're going to have 80 to 82, and hopefully we continue to cool down. That's all for weather, and now Dayana Jiselle with Entertainment News.
Thanks, Gilbert. Last week, I talked about Fresno State's production of Yellow Man, a play that touched on the issues of colorism within the Black community. While today, I show you the scoop on what really went behind closed doors and how one phone call saved the show.
Let's do this thing. Let's do it. Let's dance.
Yay! 7 days before the opening night, Fresno State alumna Deja Thompson got a phone call from a voice she knew very well. It was Fresno State theater professor Thomas Ellis.
Let's go dance again.
Ellis was on a time crunch after he had to replace the original leading actress because, as Ellis says, she had too much on her plate.
Ellis told me that he just needed me to come down. I was all the way in LA, I was at work, and he calls me and he tells me that he wants me to play in be a part of his play. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, it opens next week. All these lines, like, you're crazy. Like, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
But after some thought, Deja made her way down to Fresno and began her intensive and short rehearsals. Cast member Joshua Slack said having Deja come in was an easy transition.
Rehearsals really went a lot faster and smoother, and there were a lot more, like the energy that she really brought to the cast really kind of bounced off, because after that, like, our performances got better.
But bringing Deja on was no easy task for Professor Alice, who now had to find a way to pay Deja after she asked for a 3-week vacation from her job in LA. I asked Professor where that money came from.
In this case, my dean provided some money, and also a anonymous private donor off campus wrote a check for most of the money.
So ASI was not involved?
Not this time. We couldn't work it out. I asked them, and they just couldn't turn it around soon enough.
As for Deja, she was simply grateful for the opportunity to her first leading role.
When it comes down to your life, your career, and your passion, you just really have to take all the opportunities that God blesses you with, because they don't come, often, especially to be paid for the role. Like, actors don't really get paid, especially starting off.
Deja also shared with me that she had already bought a ticket to Miami, Florida, in which she let go to be a part of the play. Fashion professionals, along with 5 Fresno State students, brought the latest fall fashion trends to Fresno. Reporter Cecilia Jaraguez got a backstage look.
Floral prints, fringe, and suede are the latest trends for the fall, all featured at Macy's front row runway. Fashion merchandising student Reina Cáceres worked backstage with stylist Dayana during the fashion show. She says events like these are hands-on and a good way to network with professionals.
It's not just about fashion, it's also about knowing the business aspect of it, and that's where fashion merchandising comes in.
I think it's not strong enough.
Kim says student stylists were fantastic and helped her a lot by dressing the models and putting the outfits together.
We know how to either make trends, find trends, put them in stores, and then get people to buy them and walk out and be out and about with their fashion.
Fresno State students were able to get the front row experience and learn the fall trends.
Flannery Good is a local fashion blogger and the host of the event. She says creativity is the key to fashion.
So from this event, I would hope that people would take away some inspiration, some new ideas, things they can do with their wardrobes that they currently have, new pieces that they can add.
Cáceres says participating in the show was a good way to reinforce her fashion skills. One day she hopes to get a job in fashion journalism. Cecilia Jaraguez, Fresno State Focus.
I'm Dayana Jiselle, and that's your entertainment news.
Each year at the end of October, a Bulldog alumni embarks on the 10-day, 200-mile run from San Francisco to Fresno. The run is designed to raise money for the Autism Center at Fresno State and the California Autism Center and Learning Group. Here with us today is the man who will cross all of the center of California. Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
So when is this race?
Well, it's not necessarily a race, it's just a run. I'm doing it by myself. No one else wants to do it with me, but it happens at the end of October. The 27th is when I start, and I finish on November 5th.
Wow, so tell me, what motivated you to take on this extensive run?
The desire to give back, and also just fulfillment for myself. So there's a selfish element to it, but out of that I was able to reach out to the Autism Center at Fresno State and see if I could raise money for them, and it worked out. So I'm doing it every year.
So how can people in the community donate?
Donations can be made at GoFundMe.com/Ryan's Run 2015. It's very simple. You can check out our presence on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're spread a little bit too thin in my opinion, but you can go to all those sites and find us. Just search Ryan's Run.
And so is it a run where you run all the way straight down, or do you actually get breaks?
I get breaks. I give myself a little bit of a break, and I actually eat food too along the way and sleep a little bit. But no, I do about 22 miles a day, and then I get back on the 10th day.
And what do people think when they see you down the road running?
They think that they don't really know what to think. When they find out what it's for, then they're happy. On day 2, I dress up as Forrest Gump, and I run 22 miles in that whole get-up. So that's a very interesting day.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for being with us, and we wish you the best of luck on your run.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We've been talking with Ryan Steiner.
A woman named Nicolasa Macias from Woodlake formed an organization to help other women who are going through a difficult time. It's called Helping One Woman, and as I discovered, it's already made a big difference in one woman's life.
Renee Lopez always tries to make it to her son's football games, even when she's ill, and she's been ill a lot. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in March.
I'm worried about all this stuff, like how am I going to get stuff done?
She was sick from chemo when she reached out on Facebook for support. She was surprised one day when Nicolasa Macias knocked on her door and offered to help. Macias, a cancer survivor herself, recently started a new chapter of helping one woman in Woodlake. Lopez was their first beneficiary, had organized a charity dinner, and Lopez says all she had to do was show up. Each month, members select a woman who has had a devastating loss or other trouble in her life, and they help her. They're holding this yard sale to raise money for their next dinner.
By simply donating $10 to this organization, it can make a difference in a woman's life.
Each woman pays $19, $10 goes to the recipient, $8 to the caterer, and $1 to the Lions Club for the use of their hall.
The more people we invite, the more people that shows up, the more she receives at the end of the night.
Macias says anyone who attends a dinner may nominate someone who is in need of support.
How many people were out to support me? Like, I was surprised to see all these people from the community pack the house. There was not an empty seat.
Lopez says it wasn't just the money that helped her get through hard times. It was the community support from Hal that gave her and her family strength to keep fighting. Lopez's daughter says she's amazed that there are still good people in this world.
Having the support of people she had no idea knew her, or that were just complete strangers, and pray for her, and that's one of the big things she's always asking for, is just prayer and prayer.
Just 3 days after surgery, Lopez says she had a choice. She could sit at home in pain or sit in the bleachers watching her son play.
If you'd like to take part in helping one woman, use Facebook to search for a chapter in your area.
Coming up in sports, we'll chat with Athletic Director Jim Bartko. And I got a chance to take a ride in the Fresno State Blimp.
Plus, we get a crash course on the sport of equestrian as the season is about to start. Coming up next is sports with Andrew Worth.
I got the Bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head.
Up in my head.
I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that Bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit down in my toes. Hey. Down in my toes to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit all over me to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit
deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Being an avid sports fan, I like to think outside the box and learn about new sports when I can. Earlier this week, I was able to meet with Coach Hubbard and a few members of the 8th-ranked equestrian team to learn a little something new. Sophomore Rachel Williams explained that there are 2 types of riding that make up this sport, English and Western. With English, we have jumping and equitation on the flat. And for Western, we get reining and horsemanship. Something I found very interesting is that at any matches, the home team has to provide all of the horses that will be used in that competition. Fresno State junior Taylor Brown told us what she enjoys most about competing.
I think my favorite part is that we only get 4 minutes to know the horse. It really challenges the rider, and it figures out who can ride a horse that they've never been on it.
As for how the points are added up, you'll just have to come and find out and learn next Friday or Saturday as the Dogs take on New Mexico State and Texas A&M. Friday's match will start at 10 a.m. and Saturdays at 11. For more information, please visit gobulldogs.com. Last spring, Fresno State announced the return of a beloved sports program and the start of another. In February, they said that they were planning to bring back men's wrestling team along with a women's water polo program. With us today is Director of Athletics Jim Bartko. Great to have you here.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
So, Can you give us a little update on this plan and how it's coming along?
That's still right on time. We're looking to kind of do some research on what leagues we're going to be in, facilities we're going to play in. We'll look to hire coaches in February and March on both those sports. And then we'll start recruiting November 1st and have them here for 17-18 season.
Wow. So how did this idea originally come to? Where did it spark?
Well, Dr. Castro and the wrestling community never died on their hope to bring it back. And when I got here, it was just kind of more of getting the final dots put together. And we're looking forward to it. There's great passion in the Valley for both sports. And we'll get it going, and we're going to compete for championships.
So you said that everything's going right on track. So the plan is still to have the wrestling team, competing by 2017.
17-18. So like how it'll work is we'll probably hire a coach in March and April. Recruiting class is November 1st for seniors in high school. They'll come in May for school, and we'll compete in the fall.
So now going to the water polo side of it, what does it take to put a brand new program together?
Well, it's not easy because again, you got to find which conference you're playing in. You got to get the right coach, facilities, locker rooms, equipment. We have a great pool where our swim and diving team play already. So that was easy to do. Our old wrestling room is still available. We're going to be using that. So things are in place, but it takes time. We would say it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. We're going to work hard to make this the right way to do it.
Awesome. So are there any major dates that any fans can look forward to for wrestling or water polo yet?
I think we'll have an announcement probably in December for the exact timeline, and probably March or April for the coach to be hired.
So shifting more towards Fresno State news now, any other big things that you can share with us yet?
Want to get a win on Friday.
Let's hope for that one. Let's hope for that one.
Yeah, so it's been a tough year so far, but we're gonna go. We're looking at redoing a Bulldog Stadium. A lot of fun things to do for there. Our tennis court just got completed, so we're doing a lot of great things. Our student athletes are always getting great grades. So we're gonna keep plugging away. Our fans need to be patient. We have a 5-year vision in place. We have a great president who's kind of given us a lot of great resources and support. So our hope is to make all of our fans proud.
Perfect. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
We've been talking with Director of Athletics at Fresno State, Jim Bartko. Now back to you, Fabiola and Janet.
Fresno State is thrilled to be the only college athletic program with its own blimp. I myself got to check it out firsthand.
You know, who goes out and buys a blimp? This guy. And I've thought about, I need to get a t-shirt that says that. Hey, we thought, we need to get one in Bulldog Red, and then we need to talk to Fresno State, and that's what we did.
The blimp, named Bulldog 1, is half a football field long, and Fresno State is the only university and athletic department to own one.
There's just something about seeing, that big bulldog up in the air that really draws the attention of everyone.
The blimp is paid for by co-brand advertisers, and a portion of the ad sales go back to the university. As a Valley native, Chris Bowling plans to share the blimp with Fresno State for the next 5 years.
It's my intention to keep it here and to keep it as a symbol for Fresno State and a symbol for the Valley.
Bulldog 1 crossed the skies of Fresno State during its homecoming game this past weekend. Fans were amazed once more by the 150-foot-long blimp.
It's a blimp. I don't know. It could fly around in the sky. I think it's cool to see that we had a blimp. I didn't even know that it was one of the few in the world, but I think it's exciting.
From all of us at Fresno State Focus, have a good night.